Hello, One Pockets here, back and playing some more EVE Online, back on Keltorin. Doing some more Yoiul Festival YC 122, or Christmas 2020 for us meat space minded folks. Just some thoughts on the event and some things I've done. I want to show a few things that have come up. In the last video, I was flying the Vagabond. It worked out quite well. I wanted something with a little more cargo space because I found we were running out of cargo space a lot and I had to stop often just for that. Also, some sort of setup where I could do exploration sites as well, because sometimes you have to do something other than combat to progress the skill path. So we can take a look at that. Obviously, I've ground up a fair bit. I'm over halfway done. This was the halfway mark in here somewhere. So I'm just over halfway done. But we're looking at the skills, and obviously I've got site completed. This one's in low sec. I have to go to low sec site. I'll get that done at some point. I have to mine some ore. We'll talk about that in a minute. This one's in null sec, so I'll have to figure out how I want to do that too. I haven't been in null sec in a while. And then entering an exploration site. So no combat ones. So I can't just sit with my battleship and progress the path. So I have to be set up to do more than one of the three activities. Two's probably enough. So far I haven't run into a point where I had to do one of them. Actually, that's a lie. I did have to mine for a little bit, which I wouldn't have done normally. That's true. So I did get to a point where it was these two and the snowballing PCs, which I did figure out, but then I also did some mining, but just to see what it was about and clear that one task, and then it just gave me more and more mining. So we'll talk about it in a second. So what I've done, moving into the important stuff, is I've set up this Nightmare. This is Hateless Gaming's Nightmare. Really good ship. So far it's lost one race against a Rattlesnake, and I think that was my fault because I didn't start my lasers early enough. And then the second round, same Rattlesnake, I did take the kill, and then that was it. So it's a good little ship. This thing is awesome. I picked it because I've never flown a Nightmare. I've been playing for over 10 years, and I've never used a Nightmare. So I figured it was time, so I took that fit, I got myself a Nightmare, and I'm enjoying it. It's a pretty fun little ship for this. I imagine it's even better in like fleets and stuff, so we'll see if I can figure out a chance to get that stuff out there and try some of the other things that a Nightmare can do. But let's talk about the event. So I'll quickly burn through the fit, but I'll put a link to Hateless's video in the description down below where he'll be a little more detailed about it. It's his build. So 4 Mega Pulse Laser 2s in the highs. You can see I'm at 72% damage on the con flag. I do have 4 more in my hold, so I'm not too worried about it. I do carry Scorched as well. I've never needed it, so if you probably don't need to carry it. I have it just in case something happens and the battleship sticks out a little further, which hasn't happened yet. Hateless talked about it, so I did it, but it hasn't been necessary. I've got a Festival Launcher, so if there is some PCs or NPCs, I can throw snowballs at them. And a Tractor Beam because we're slow as molasses and we don't want to be moving. We'll talk about that in a second. So this tractor's in the wreck. The one weakness is this does make us susceptible to ninja looters. And because the ship's almost 2 billion, I'm not really willing to risk it against a PvP fit something that might be in there trying to cause trouble. So if someone comes in and ninja loots, I mean, I'm not really doing it for the ISK anyway. We talk about it because it's something that we can measure, but it doesn't matter. Then in the mid slots, EM Shield Hardener II and 2 Multispectrum Shield Hardener IIs. Get our resists up. We have the Heavy Stasis Grappler 2 and a Fed Navy Web. Technically, you can use probably a Tech 2 and just have the 10-kilometer range, but I like this because it does allow me to, every so often, I can grab one of the cruisers, which helps, which you'd have a lot more trouble doing with the Tech 2. So the Fed Navy gives us that little bit. They often hang out just outside, or they're dead before they get into 13 because the Grappler slows them, but the expensive bit of this fit, or the main thing, other than the hull itself, is the Gist X-type extra-large shield booster. Hateless says you can probably get away with a T2. I haven't struggled at all with the Gist X-type. I had this on hand, so I didn't actually have to buy it, which helped, so I threw it on there. You can try a T2. It should work just as well. And the Republic Fleet cap battery just to give us a bit of cap and a bit of newt resistance. We aren't cap stable, but we're not running the booster constantly, so it has never been an issue. Not yet anyway. It will be today because I just said that and you guys are watching. Capacitor Flux Coil 2 in the low, just that extra little bit of cap. Tracking enhancer and 4 heat sinks. Now 4 may be overkill. You may want to drop this into a second tracking computer. I don't know. But this is how I fit it up and it works. So again, could probably go down to 3 and switch this out. And then in the rigs, we have a Tech 2 capacitor control circuit and 2 Tech 1s. Just got to squeeze every bit of capacitor out of it as we can because we are running an extra large booster and all of our entire mid slots other than the battery is active. And lasers, I mean. And then the last bit of damage, mostly just for the battleship. This thing can't hit frigates as far as I've been able to get it to do. And actually those were bouncers. So that's going to be the key here. In Hateless's fit, he runs bouncers, and I've been running them. I literally just switched to guards, and I haven't tried it yet. So it may be that these don't work. So we'll have to see in the video that you guys will get to see me test it live. But with the bouncers, I wasn't able to track the frigates. And I think these track even worse, but it should be more damage, so it may be able to burn down the battleship faster. That's kind of my test. I know it's not EM damage, but it does more damage than the bouncers, so I'm going to try it. May have to go back to bouncers. That's enough about those. But that's why we're not moving, because we're going to drop those as soon as the battleship spawns. I like to wait till he's yellow boxing us, then I drop the drones, and everything just goes on the battleship. And that's how you win races. You just apply everything you can. And that's basically the fit. And again, you run it with conflag ammo. You're running T2s. If you're going to go down to the large metas, I mean the EM ammo, whatever that is, probably Multispectrum would be just fine. But yeah, this is with a fit. Obviously, this is not alpha friendly and it's a little expensive, but this is how I've been running it because it's fun. The other reason to go to a battleship, which I meant to mention, is that you have a frigate escape base. So I carry my little Astero around with me. So we'll look at that real quick. This is just my standard Astero. I keep Astero around when I feel like going into a wormhole or doing some nullsec, lowsec, highsec, whatever exploration. I just use this. This is a ship I've had for, well, I've lost a couple of them, but it's a ship I've kept on hand for the last several years. And it's pretty basic fit, just for scanning, really. It got some tank. Oh no, this isn't even the one with tank. I built a battle one and lost that some time ago. So Coverdock's cloaking device, I could remove this and put a festival launcher in while we're in high sec, but it's what I keep on it for wormholes and stuff. Sisters Core probe launcher with Sisters Core probes. Keep 8 in the loader and 8 in my hull. So when I launch them, automatically reloads the launcher, which is nice. If I have to relaunch them, I don't have to wait for a reload. Pinpointing array 1 and range finding array 1. Shadow Serpentis, Hunter Magnoon Afterburner. I mean, this could be meted down or a T2. It doesn't matter. I just happen to have this. Switched it out some time ago. Data analyzers, because the event sites are data analyzers. I'll usually in the hold carry a relic one as well. Or I'd flip one of these out for a relic. The big thing is the scanning the site down is the hard part. The hacking is super easy. But even with my skills, and I'm not terrible at scanning, I have to get all the way down to 0.25 before I actually lock it in. So I don't know if that's just me. Let me know what your guys' experience has been. If I was flying a Covert Ops frigate with 5 in the skills, it might be a little easier because a T1 frigate is the same scan resolution at 5 points in frigate. So a Covert Ops might be a little better, or like a scan or a Exploration fit T3 might be better. But with this fit and with this ship and with my skills, I still have to go all the way down to 0.25 is the key. So I put these in here to try and help it. I get less variance, so I get less of those ones where it does weird things. So that's good. And I like to go fast when I'm doing things. There is no tank. If I get caught, this thing's dead. So 3 times nanofiber internal structure 2s and an inertial stabilizer. Without the afterburner on, we're sub 2 second align time, which is as good as instant, which is nice. This helps getting to the thing before people, getting aligned to it, getting over to it. And then just a Gravic capacitor upgrade as well, for the same reason, to help eliminate that deviations when you're doing scanning. For this video, I intend to show the Nightmare. And I'd like to show a scanning site, and I'd like to show a little bit of the mining. I'm not going to do the whole thing because mining takes forever, but I'll go in and show you what it is, and we can do it. You should be able to do all of that in this system, so let's get to it. The first thing we're going to do is try a combat site. So I'm just going to go ahead and get back in Calypso. Not like that. It doesn't work that way. You can do it this way, though. And I'm going to get outside, and I'm going to find us a site to run, so stand by. Yeah, so it looks like we're clean. I'm scanning 14. There's nothing in here, so we can go to any one of these. We're going to go to the closest one. Warp to it. It's nice and quiet right now. Earlier it was noisy. The other thing is it looks like there's probably people scanning. We can't really see them. That's the one thing I did notice is the scanning sites are a lot more competitive. It's a lot harder to get them than the combat sites. And yeah, so that can take a little longer. If we have to clear this enter exploration site, we'll do that. The other thing I forgot to mention while we were docked up, Megathron. Yeah, this Stasis. I see a lot of these running this combat site, so there's some, or the scanning sites, which is interesting. I want to close this. I'm trying something new with my layouts here, so let me know what you guys think, by the way. The other thing I forgot to mention while we were in, that's what we're talking about, is I just carry my Astero in the fighter escape bay. So if I need to move around and find quieter systems and an exploration one pops up, I can just dock up and leave with my ship. I don't have to fly the battleship around to find my explorer. I don't typically do mining, so I'm not too worried about carrying my endurance, which we will see if when I do the mining site. It's pretty typical. I looked at it, and the endurance is as good as for me if I had good skills. Let's be fair. The endurance is the better choice for mining, and we will talk about this when we do it. But it is not alpha friendly. You can't do the mining sites as an alpha, which is a little bit sad. Because the exploration looks like it's going to be a little harder because scanning it down is difficult, and alphas may not have the skills for that. And the combat sites are harder. I do have a praxis fit I'm working on. That video should come before this one. We'll see. That should be the order. It should be the praxis fit, then this. That alphas can use. It's an alpha-friendly praxis that's under 300 million. So a couple hours of running sites should pay for it. So keep an eye out for that if it's not out before this one. We're just waiting for the spawn here, and I'm filling some dead air. Like this. Why are these not in? I guess it doesn't matter, they're the only ones. And we will try the guards. Okay, so it doesn't matter what order. Oh, there we go. Are these numbing? Yeah, we'll get these first. We want these numbings gone. Numbing, Halburst, Hailburst, frigates. Oh, okay. Let's lock it all up. Whoops. And we'll worry about the order in a second. That's a numbing, so we're just gonna grapple. It's not in range of the webs, but it'll come into range. And then we'll put the other numbing here. And then that's 1, 2. We need this guy. So we'll drop that and we'll bring this guy up. We want to get the... Oh, he's way out. That's why. Okay. I thought I could lock like 7 targets. So you can see just how fast this thing tears it down. Compared to everything else I've been using. This is quite the nice. If I can actually get the shooting going. It does quite a good job taking these things down. It can sometimes struggle to hit the frigates. Again, just because they're frigates. But there's some tricks I've kind of been working on that seem to make it easier, so we'll talk about them when we get down to the frigates. So when we're about half, we'll turn on the booster. And he's not under 13, so we can't put the webs on. But this guy's going to close in, so we'll be able to web him. And then we just wait. Just let it burns down. If they do get in, sometimes they'll get a bit of traversal, and then you can miss occasionally. But that's okay. What's up? Oh, he's going to try to steal my loot, isn't he? It's the only reason to bring a buzzard in here is to try to steal the loot. But that's okay. If he wants it, he can have it. I'm not doing it for the loot. We'll see what he does. Why is this missing so much? What am I missing? Oh, he's underneath. Let's grab him. He's underneath. So once he gets under 13, he gets enough angular velocity that we can't hit him. So we just lock him with the web at that point. And there you go. Okay, the buzzard left. Sorry, he distracted me. And then we'll get this guy. He's going to get all of the E-War. And then the lasers. With the frigates, so what I do is when I get to the frigates, I apply the 2 grapples. Or the web and the grapple. And then I wait till they drop down. It's the second they hit about 34, I think it is, that's when you shoot. Because then you're going to shoot them when they're at their slowest and they're still adjusting their trajectory. And it seems to apply the most damage with that initial shot. And that's just a little trick that kind of makes it a little easier sometimes. Can we get our lasers out there? That'd be great. Okay, that's good. I'm glad the buzzard left. I thought he was going to try to steal our loot. And we've got everything on him, so he should burn down pretty quick. And then we'll get this numbing. That's what's causing our cap issues here. Usually I don't even get this bad. We don't need to rep anymore, so we can actually turn that off. Excuse me. Sorry, F5 is my praxis shield booster, so I keep hitting F5. So this is what we do. We wait till that regens, then we grab them with both, we watch them, and when this says 32, we pull the trigger. I was too soon. I missed them. The next one will hit. So I was a little too soon. You want to catch that moment where, because they hit the brakes, and when they hit a certain speed, they adjust because they're trying to orbit at a certain range, and they seem to slow down and take away all their trajectory for just a minute or a second. And that's when I try to pop them. But we'll see if I can catch this one, and we'll see. Still working on the actual timing of it, and I think it might change from enemy to enemy. So he should be dropping... Where is he not? Okay, he must be a faster ship. That's weird. That one didn't drop. But we got the angular velocity down to 0.0059, which is about right. Yeah, so it appears to be different per enemy, but with most of them, I wait till they're just about to hit that 20 range, and then you shoot, and that's kind of when they're stopped. They're almost stopped, and you can take away half their life in one shot with a good hit. It could also just be that I think it works, but it's a fun little game. I enjoy it. So Okay, so here we go. I haven't tried the guards yet, so this is the moment of truth. We'll just regen our shields just a little bit. We'll do one more pulse, and then we'll turn them off until he lands. Just because we don't want to over-rep. It shouldn't matter. This guy's usually pretty easy. And we just wait. Yeah, the longest thing with these is waiting for the spawns. There he is. And then we don't move. We get him locked up. We get our stuff out. The web actually won't hit him, but... And then as soon as he starts boxing us, we can get our guards out and shooting. Now they should be able to reach him. I didn't even check the range. I just decided to try guards. Let's see here. So 90s, yeah, it's doing a little more damage. It's about the same as the bouncers actually. No, there we go. These hits are a lot higher. I didn't see anything over like 120 with the bouncers that I remember. What's their range? Show info. Optimal is... Yeah, it's about half. So they should be applying a little better. To the battleship. I don't think I'd be able to hit a frigate either way. There we go. And then we just lock this up. And we recall our drones. And we apply the tractor. We're not needing this anymore. And then we just tractor it in. If we have a clear path, I like to just do this, and then we'll... So instead of bringing it in at 600, we can bring it in at 700. Because we do about 100. The tractor beam does about 600. If it's clear. You don't want to get tied up on the rocks and get stuck in here, though. And there we go. Not bad. 36 million. Most of that's going to be in here. What's the estimate? Oh, yeah, no, this... Because it's the skin, that's not a very good example. So we got about 7 million for that one. So let me just see if I have this one. I don't think I do. I do. Okay. So there's some skins I already have. So those will go in my bin of things to give to people. All right. So that's a site in the Nightmare, and it's really that easy. Never been an issue. Let me dock up, and we'll see if we can scan this down. This may be an exploration site. We may have to travel a bit to find one, but let's go ahead and do that. So I'll be right back. All right, so the thing with this is when I'm doing exploration, I don't worry about jumping sites with my Nightmare. The whole point is that the Nightmare is slow, not the Astero. So if I have to change systems, I'll do that with the Astero, and I'll come back for the Nightmare when I'm ready for it. The big bonus is that I don't have to move with the Nightmare and then come back to wherever my Astero is, especially since I'm pretty far. I'm about... Could I undock already? Jeez, I can click that button, I swear. I'm like 7 jumps from home. I'm back in my old stomping grounds. I'm out here because I don't want to interfere with my corp mates doing these things. I don't want to compete with them, so I've found myself in a little quiet little corner where they're not. So that's why I'm out here. And we're just going to warp to this just as a little perch, and we're going to scan quickly. Yep. So you guys have seen scanning. I'll do one, and we'll see what this is. This might just be a wormhole. But, you know, scanning. Everybody knows how to do it. If you've never scanned before and you want, there's lots of good guides. I also have a couple videos where I talk about it. I don't know if they're good or not. That's not for me to decide. I do all right. You know, I used to before I started doing corp stuff when I was just kind of a solo player. One of my favorite things was living out in nullsec, kind of nomadic lifestyle, just in my ship, finding relic and data sites and scanning them and then throwing away the crap loot, and then when I've got enough loot that it's worth it, making my way back into HighSec. When Thera was released, I used to go through Thera into nullsec and then try to find my way home from there. One day I'm going to take one of the static needle jacks or whatever they're called. I haven't actually used them yet. Yeah, nothing here. That was a wormhole just like I thought. So we're going to pop over to another system, take a needle jack and just pop out wherever it is and then find my way home from there while scanning or something. It might be fun to do. It's been a while since I've done it. But, you know, Mauro keeps me pretty busy, and with the break I just took, I'm just kind of easing my way back into the game. So we'll see. That might be something that shows up on the channel eventually. I probably won't show the videos until I'm out of nullsec, because you know how that is. People know where you are. They're going to come looking for you. So, but yeah, I don't know how it is anymore out there, but back then, in my little Heron, you'd go days without seeing another ship. Do I have a safe out here? I do. So let's warp to that. It doesn't really matter. It's pretty safe in HighSec. I didn't catch it that time. Usually I try to click this as we decloak, but I was too slow because I was talking, so now I gotta wait till we land. There's 2 here, and there's 7 people, so we might get lucky. I don't see any other scanners on that's the thing with the scanning. You can it's hard to tell because the systems are so big. If they're not right next to you, you may not even know they're out here scanning. And the biggest thing is often you'll start scanning and the pip you're scanning will disappear because there's actually somebody in it running it. I suppose if you were fast, you could combat and fit. You could combat probe it, see if there's anything in it, but that's not for me. I'm just going to scan it down and try to be faster than the next guy. The hacking's really quick. I just burned through it. It's a wormhole. It's nice having the skills that you can pop those wormholes like the first scan. Usually. This one's a small one, so I can scan it at... Oh, I'm at 8. That's why it looks small. You don't have to be perfectly center, but be close. I tried being very accurate, and it didn't really make a difference in how far down the track I had to get to scan it. So maybe you play with it, because if your skills aren't quite as high, or your ship's not quite as good at it, or whatever, you might need to be a little more accurate. But I did try being like zooming way in and being pinpoint accurate, and it didn't really help. I know there's a trick where they're within 4 AUs of an astral body, so I could have scanned between this and the point with a 4 AU scan, but I'm not good at that, so I don't mess with it. More often than not, it takes me 2 scans. That's another wormhole. Okay. Let me find us an actual site, and I will bring you back when I've done that. Now you can see here this is already loaded. Just called in my probes. That's why I carry 2 sets. Let's go... I'll be right back once I found us an actual site. And again, they are much more competitive than the... Sorry, can't use my words. There seems to be more competition for them, but there's also less of them in each system, so that's why it's a little harder to find them. So if you're intending to do this as, your job, or is that what you're going to do for the event, be prepared to be spending a lot of time not finding anything, in my experience. So let me find one. However long it takes, I'll find us one, and we'll be right back. Alright, looks like we're on the final scan for this one, so let's hope that the other scanner in the system isn't there already. I hit the other 2 first, so if he got this one first, he might already be there. And the other X disappeared, so he may have been scanning that one and got it. So let's grab this one here. And warp to 0. Close that. We'll recall our probes because there's nothing left to scan. We'll decloak. I was just approaching away from the gate cloaked. It's hard to get found that way. It's not like I'm likely to get scanned here. It's just habits being cloaked when you're in a cloaky ship. Yeah, so there we go. So my trick is I just double click this until I start traveling, and I'm like sort of pulsing control so that it will lock. Afterburner on. And then I orbit it. It's set to 1200 because of the agility. I can orbit it nice and tight. And then once we're under 7 or close to 7, we hack it. You can do the rule of 6, but I don't bother in here. I'm just trying to go quick. Oh, wow. Let's go this way. If I fail this on camera, I haven't failed a single one. There we go. And you just do that. It's a super simple hack, so if you have any idea. And it's kind of the same loot. Sell your hacking loot plus your event loot and get credit for it. So there we go. We can do 2 data vaults open, so we can grind out the other one and get credit for the thing. And that's basically the hacking sites. If you're looking for a guide on hacking, I do one. It's in my playlist down below. If you can't find it, let me know. I'll dig it up for you. There's plenty of other guides out there. Some of them I would argue are better than mine, but that's for you guys to decide. Yeah, you can take a look at hacking, but that's it. If you can find the sites, it took me... This is the second system, but there's another scanner out here, so you can see him right there. So luckily I got this one and he didn't. But that's it. Okay, so I'm going to move on. We're going to take one quick look at the mining, and then we will go from there. So stand by while I go get my endurance, and we will talk about mining. Alright, so here we are, back docked up in station in our endurance. Sarah is nicely tucked away in her frigate escape bay, so I don't forget her and leave her behind when I use my nightmare next. Let's take a look at mining. Now, I don't mine. I'm not a big mining person. I have some skills for it because sometimes these events require mining. I just finished training for the endurance, luckily enough. So, because there was some corp stuff happening that I might have wanted to try. So I've been training for it. So that got lucky there. Advantages of the mining event. Let's get into one while we do it, because I do have to mine at least one more piece, and it takes a minute. So let's go ahead. First off, there's not really a lot of hunting. There's either a mining site in the system or not, and you're not really competing for it unless there's a large number of people, because the rocks do disappear. They can be mined out, but so far I haven't had any problems finding rocks to chew on. So that's nice if you don't want to be hunting around this. As with mining, it's a fairly chill, very relaxed activity to do in Eve. And so when I do mine, it's usually because I want to be sitting on comms with the rest of the people that are mining and just chatting with them. And usually it's for corp stuff, because I don't also do manufacturing very much. But yeah, so if you don't want to be hunting around and competing for sites, this is the way to go. And I think these gates are different. I keep meaning to look at it. Anyway, so that's great. It does take a long time. It's a slower event. It's a slower task. But they seem to repay you for it, because like this task here probably take me about 6, 7, 8 minutes, maybe 10 minutes. But I get 80 points for it. It's basically a minute and a half a cycle. No, it's 2 minutes a cycle, and I need to do... No, it would take me about half an hour to get the 80 points. Sorry, my math was way off there. But you get more points for it, so that's the trade-off. But basically, you come to these sites. It's the fading volatile ice fields here in high sec. It's a different site in low sec and null sec. And you're just basically mining these rocks. And again, they can dissipate or disappear. Like, they're limited amounts in each of them, so you just sort of fly up to it. I launch my drones. They're on aggressive. It does spawn pirates, so you do have to be able to defend yourself, although they're belt rat pirates. They're not anything scary. So yeah, you can do this. It takes a long time. So typically what I do when I'm doing this kind of thing, this would be a time when I could do this while watching a YouTube video or chatting with people on Discord or hanging out with the corp or having a meeting. What I've been doing lately is painting Space Marines while mining, just trying to clear out this site. That's what I did earlier today. But this is it. You come out here, you get within the range of your mining lasers. I'm not very well equipped, so my cycle time is like a minute and something. Minute 20 seconds. And each cycle nets me 1 rock, and you need 7 rocks. So it's 7... I can't do math right all of a sudden, but it's like 9 minutes or 10 minutes to get a turn in. So we're close. We lock it up. Obviously, I would be doing this much more efficiently. I would have turned on my afterburners if I wasn't talking. And there we go. Okay. And so for the turn in, which we will talk about, and that's how you get these, you need 7. And I mined until I had 6, so I only need 1 more for this turn in. What I usually do is mine until I have 14, and then I go do 2 turn ins. But for the sake of this video, I'm going to mine until this one's full. I won't make you guys sit here for the full minute and a half or minute and 20 and watch it. Oh, see, there's the rats. So we just sit here. You could, if I want to put a tractor beam on here, we can suck in the wrecks and see if there's any good loot. It could happen, but I haven't fit the tractor beam just yet. We'll turn this stuff on. So while we're sitting here, let's talk about the fit, because my drones will take care of those guys, no problem. Here they come. As soon as they start actually shooting me, the drone should go. They're still aggressive. Okay, there we go. So let's take a look at the fit. This is an endurance. I did look at using like a procurer or something like that. And we'll talk about that in a second. So mining laser 1, because that's all I can fit. I don't have the training for Tech 2 yet. I might do it, I might not, we'll see. I probably will, because I'd like to train things. A festival launcher, that way if there's another dude in here, we can trade snowballs to clear out those sites. That's happened a couple times now, which has been great. They just, we just sit there and mine and shoot snowballs at each other until we're both done. Afterburner 2 to get a little extra speed, which helps close the distance because you're traveling a fair bit. EM resist and a shield hardener. Probably want to actually switch to Serpentis damage profile here. Thermal kinetic, but I threw that on there because it was a winter event. Actually never actually comes into play, so I don't think it matters. Medium shield extender 2, so if I'm not paying attention, they do get to shoot me for a few minutes. My drones aren't doing their jobs, they're not going to kill me immediately. 3 times ice harvester upgrade 2s, that's to keep my cycle time faster. And then 2 shield extender 2s. It's a T2 ship, might as well put T2 rigs on it, is usually what I do. And then again, just to give me a little bit of a buffer, but it's not really an issue. My drones barely took any damage too. So that's the fit. Really nothing to it, and then just some drones. I did compare this, as I said, to the T1 barges, which I can also fly. One advantage is the barges have 2 lasers, so you can be getting 2 chunks at a time. But my cycle time on those was like 170 seconds, which is a fair bit more. And they're a lot slower. They're slower in warp. They're slower to navigate the field, which we'll talk about in a second, and that sort of thing. And they're usually bigger targets for gankers. So I decided the Endurance was the way to go. So if I do have to travel, it's not such a big deal. So you mine the site. You can see we have the 7. That's cool. We'll get one more because we're here. And all you do is you take your 7 little ice nodes and you go over to this faded ore. The mining laser you use doesn't actually matter. So like a strip miner usually has a larger harvest yield. So one cycle is longer, but you get more per cycle. With this event, why am I not going? With this event, it's one cycle is one piece, no matter how big the laser is. So whatever's got the fastest cycle time, that's what you want to use. So if your training has you in like T2 exhumers, you may want to use something like a retriever or whichever one's got the faster cycling time, because the 2 lasers will net you more that way. But for me, this works. The other downside to the mining, and I kind of hinted at it earlier, is that this is not alpha friendly. As far as I know, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I looked, there are no alpha ships that can fit ice mining equipment. So alphas can't do this. Which is kind of sad, because this would be the easiest one for them to get into, and like most alphas mine in ventures, right? That's one of the things that a lot of alphas do. So I don't know if that was done on purpose or just an oversight, but it is a thing that we have to be aware of. So alphas can't do these sites. But here we go. So we get our 7, we accept it, it pops us into this little green salvage package, and we move on. And then we go back to the rocks. And this is the traveling I'm talking about. You got to go back out to the rocks, and then back over to this orca, and then back out to the rocks, and back over to this orca. But it's nice and chill, so there is that. I'm not actually going to do any more of that. I'm going to dock up, and we're going to open the cans and see what's in them. We're going to go to roading, because that's where all my stuff is. Drones are in. But yeah, so that's the site. And I grind up till I have 14, or if I miss it, 15. And then I go back, I cache them in, and then you go back and mine some more. It's pretty simple. Nothing much to it, unless there's more, but I don't think there is. I don't mine a lot, though. And the other downside is, to me, and I think other people might feel this way, is the site itself doesn't have any actual like special ores. They did that in the last one, where the ore was used to build the accelerators, and that was great for the market people and the manufacturing guys. So like people like me could go and help them mine the materials, sell it to them, or give it to them, and they can turn it into stuff to sell. That was really cool. We don't seem to have that this year, which is a little sad, but again, who knows, right? I haven't talked to anybody that would have been in charge of designing this. I don't know if it was just because of COVID there wasn't as much they could put into it. I don't know. But overall, my thoughts on this whole event is that it's a pretty good event. The low-sec sites seem to be fun. I haven't done much of them. I do want to do more. But right now I'm just kind of getting the track filled out, and then we'll play around with things once we're done with that. But overall, I think it is a good event. There is something for everybody, even alphas. Again, I showed the praxis fit, so an alpha can run the sites and apparently win races. Who knew? 7th tier to 8th tier. These aren't bad. It's not amazing. But it seems to, again, this is your typical like salvage stuff. Which is weird. You'd think it would have been ore, but no, we get our typical salvage type materials and some overseers effects, which are what the actual value is. So 4 million. This one's key. Like this 4 million, you can take that. Actually, it might even be more than that, because if we look at the market details, oh no, we have it. That's proper, because we have this is an NPC buy order, and we're going to talk about this. I'm going to do a video just on selling these. It'll be a quick little sort of tip one. But yeah, NPC buy order, so you can always sell this one for this much, so don't sell it for any less. And I'll show you how to find that and that kind of stuff in a future video. But yeah, not bad. So about 4 million. But again, we're going to get 80 points towards our track if we do it. So when I want some chill time, I can do some mining, and that's that. But other than that, I'm going to stick to the combat sites because that's what I enjoy, and I'll be doing the exploration sites as I need to. And that's my 3 ships. That's kind of the 3 ships I'm using for this event. Definitely check out the video if you haven't already of the Alpha Praxis fit, because even if you're not Alpha, that's a good fit to get into. It's under 300 million, and it'll pay for itself in no time. I mean, some of those sites will pull 100 million if you get lucky with your overseers. So you do a couple of hours will pay for that Praxis. It may not win all the races. I mean, it probably wouldn't, like the Nightmare would smoke it, but the Nightmare's also 2 billion ISK. It's probably never going to pay for itself. I didn't buy it in hopes that it was going to make a profit. I bought it because it was something fun to fly. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm done rambling. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for watching. As always, comments in the comments section down below. I try to respond to as many of them as I can, especially if they're constructive and not just, rude. I usually ignore those guys. But yeah, if you want to have a conversation, if you want to have a longer form conversation, I do have my Discord, or you can find me on the Malro Discord if you're over there. There is a public event there, so you can DM me anytime. I do my best to respond as much as I can. Obviously, if I get too many, it makes it harder, but until then, just, let's do this. Feels good to be back. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and we'll see y'all next time. I am out of here. Peace.